Hello everybody, welcome to another mini lesson which I record for Zdenek's English podcast patrons. Once again, thank you for being one of the 10 patrons of Zdenek's English podcast. It is very important that I do have some patrons because this is what keeps me going. This is what gives this podcast the right kind of push, the right drive, the motivation to keep pressing on. And obviously, hopefully you do find these mini lessons valuable as well, because that is the idea. Yes, and this episode is going to be about vocabulary. I'm going to be picking apart vocabulary from the episode I recorded with Helen about Ferdinand Cheval, the guy that built the ideal palace in France. And I genuinely hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Definitely enjoyed recording it. And now is the time to have a look at some vocabulary. I've made notes. See, here are my notes. I'm not going to show you my handwriting because you would probably what's the word for it? You would judge me for it. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. But my handwriting is really bad. So I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to be hiding it. And you might be wondering, Zdenek, you can't show it to us anyway. You are on the podcast. This is an audio podcast, isn't it? You're not talking somewhere. You're not recording this on a video, are you? Well, guess what? I actually am. Yes, I've decided to record this mini lesson on my YouTube, or for my YouTube channel as well. Hang on a second before you have a go at me. No, you will not lose your status as the next English podcast patron. This is only available to patrons. How am I going to make sure only patrons can listen to this, can watch this? I mean, I'm getting confused myself. How do I make sure? Well, it's easy. You can only watch this because, only you can watch this because this is an unlisted video. Yes, on YouTube you can set, you can change your video and put it in the unlisted category, which is something that only people with a link can access. So very easy. In the show notes of this podcast, I am including this link so you can actually watch this video. So only you guys that are patrons can watch this. I just thought I would do this as an experiment. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm also holding this device because I'm also recording it as a podcast. So I'm using two different microphones, to record this. Anyway, I hope you like it. I might do this more often. Maybe not, because it's actually more hassle. But I thought, why not do it this time? Okay, listen, this is a mini lesson. So as always, we have to keep it that way. A mini lesson, Zdenek. Yes, let's go. So, as always, we're going through some language from that episode. This time it's kind of miscellaneous vocabulary, let's say. Okay. Cheval means horse. That's what Helen said. And I responded to that by saying, we are not horsing around, listeners. We're talking about an actual person that is no longer alive. That was a joke. Not very funny, I know. So to horse around means to fool about, to behave in a silly, often noisy way. So just maybe a synonym for this could be to mess about, to horse around. Did you know this one? Yeah, so the joke is that I thought it would be funny to use a phrasal verb involving the word horse as a response to the sentence that Helen used, that cheval means horse in French. Yeah, but the joke didn't really turn up to be funny. It did not turn out to be funny, not up, sorry. It did not turn out to be funny, did it? No, I don't think it did. It didn't make me laugh. And I'm the first person who should really be the one that, that should laugh. Now, should you laugh at your own jokes? Is this something that's frowned upon? I don't even know. But I think you should, in order to choose the right jokes to tell, You have to find them amusing yourself. You have to find them good yourself. So I think you have to make that first sort of judgment, or that first assessment yourself. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, aren't I? Yes, that's right. You are, Zdenek. You're getting sidetracked. It's time to move on. It's a hidden gem. The ideal palace. Yeah, we're talking about the ideal palace. Helen said it's a hidden gem. I really like this expression. If something is a hidden gem, it's something of good quality, often unique, that not many people know about. By the way, the word is pronounced unique, not unique, unique. I know some people pronounce it as unique, but unique is a guy. A eunuch is a guy that doesn't have any testicles, any balls. I think it's some kind of a procedure that was done to monks in the Middle Ages, but it's obviously a terrible thing to happen to anyone, to any man. Basically, they were castrated, right? So eunuchs, but the word is unique. Yeah, I know some people have problems with this, so I want to clarify that there is a clear difference in pronunciation. Whew. Let's move on. What's so fascinating about it? I asked Helen. Why is it a thing? So if you ask this question, why is it a thing? The word thing has got a lot of meanings, and it's kind of a generic word, isn't it? But here it describes a phenomenon, often of some great importance. Often it's some culture significance, actually. Yeah, so it could be a monument, and let's say why, or it could be, I don't know, a piece of art. So you could, for example, ask, why is Mona Lisa a thing? It's just a woman looking sideways, right? Or whichever way she's looking, I can't remember, but you know what I mean. And then you can say, well, it's a hidden gem. No, that's not the one I'm doing. You see, I'm trying to do two things at the same time, looking at the camera, looking at my notes. No, I'm doing the next one. It's a thing. We could say Mona Lisa, I don't know why it's a thing, really, why so many people admire it, why it's such a phenomenon. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, the expression is, it's a thing. Yeah. So why is it a thing, Helen? Why is this idea palace a thing? Who knows? Cheval, he was a rural postman. A rural postman. The word rural, I'm looking at the word rural. That's why I kind of stressed it there, even though I didn't have to do that. Yeah. The neutral stress would be, he's a rural postman. Yeah. The word postman has more stress. But if I want to stress the word rural for some reason, I did it for the reason of sort of foreshadowing that this is the word that I was going to explain, that I was about to explain to you. He was a rural postman. Yeah. Anyway, never mind, Zdenek. Rural is a word. It's an adjective. Yeah. So basically, a rural postman means it's a postman that does his job, does his rounds in the countryside. Yeah. So I don't know, in a village or somewhere like that. Whereas the opposite of the word rural, obviously, is urban. Can you pronounce that? Urban, rural. Even the word rural is a bit tricky to pronounce. Rural. Yeah, that's it. And interesting. By the way, if you are wondering why both these R's are pronounced in this word, even though I claim to speak with British accent, well, the reason for it is because it's not always the case that all R's are silent in British English. No, not when they are at the beginning of stressed syllables, not when they are at the beginning of words, and not in this case. Okay, rural. It's not rural, it's rural. Right. I think, guys, I have to. I've got a laptop here in front of me, and it's running out of battery, I think. Has it? Has it just happened to me? No, it's not. What am I talking about? It's not running out of battery. Oh, by the way, why have I just switched off my device? It's not even working. So now I know I have to use the sound from this microphone. The normal one that I normally use for the Next English podcast, it switched off by itself. I don't know why. But now that I've noticed it, there's no use holding it in my hands. So this must be fascinating for the audio people, for the people who can't see this video, right? You have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, let's carry on, shall we? He was a mere postman. I really like this word mere. This comes from Helen. By the way, the previous word also came from Helen, rural. Now, we're looking at the word mere. Helen said that Cheval was a mere postman. Mere is another way to sort of say he was only a postman. Basically, the word mere means that the significant, basically, he was just a postman, you know. The word mere means, it describes how small or insignificant someone or something is. Yeah. So, I don't know. Zdenek, what are you drinking? Well, it's mere water. Mere water. That's right. I'm not drinking anything fancier. It's just mere water. It's insignificant, right? I don't really believe that, actually. I think water is the most important thing on our planet. But you know what I'm trying to say, right? A mere postman, not very significant. Someone who, you know, doesn't have that big status of, I don't know, who could have a big status in the Middle Ages? A knight, don't know, archbishop, a king, someone like that. We wouldn't say he's a mere king, would we? No, that wouldn't work at all. Right. I did fact check this before what? You see, this is now you can see how it is actually when you can't read your own notes. Now you can see it on camera as well. I did fact check this before inviting Helen onto this podcast to talk about it. Yes, I was referring to something Helen said, I think, about the ideal palace, and I responded to that by saying I did fact check this. That means I did make sure that what she's saying is actually true. Does that make any sense? How could I do that before speaking to Helen? Well, I kind of did my homework, right? I prepared for this episode, so I fact-checked the things that I thought Helen would talk about, and indeed she ended up talking about them. So I did a good job of fact-checking. A dangerous word to pronounce. Fact-checking. You could end up saying something different, right? Let's be careful there. He used stone he gathered while he was doing his rounds as a postman. Helen said that. He gathered stone, right? So gathered means collected while he was doing his rounds. So that's an interesting expression. You do rounds, that means you go from person to person, visiting different people, different places to do your rounds. It's like something you would do as a postman, right? You would do your rounds because that's what you have to do when you have a job like that, because you have to deliver the letters and postcards and all that, right? I don't think it's done as much as it used to be done now because of emails and social media and all that, but it is still done. We do have a postman here in our village. Yes, that's right. And his name is not Gabriel Cheval. In fact, it's not a he, it's a she. It's a woman. Our postman is a postwoman. Can you believe that? And she is not building the ideal palace, as far as I'm aware, unless she's keeping it secret, in which case she's doing a fantastic job of hiding this from us. Yes. What's this? When you see it, you will be in awe. Awe. What's awe? Actually, let me carry on with this one just to give you more context. When you see it, you will be in awe. It will leave you speechless. You will be blown away. All these expressions kind of mean the same thing. To be in awe means to feel a lot of respect. It's kind of mixed with a little bit of fear, perhaps, or surprise. This is a strange one. But how is it even spelled? A-W-E, awe. When you are in awe, you sort of like, wow, this is magnificent. Yeah, it's like there is an adjective that describes something that could put you in this state of awe. I think formidable. If something is formidable, that kind of inspires respect and fear and maybe a little bit of surprise. I would say these two words. I would learn these two words together, to be in awe and when something is formidable. Formidable. Is it formidable or formidable? When you're not sure about the stress, what do, Zdenek? You look it up, you check it, you fact check it. Formidable. Actually, two different ways I can pronounce it, so I was right either way. I love when this happens. Formidable or formidable. Which one is which, though? Which one is British English? Which one is American English? Okay.
Formidable.
Formidable seems to be British English. Oh, and American English also.
Formidable.
Oh, okay, there you go. So formidable. British English stresses the second syllable. By the way, sorry for all those notification sounds. That comes from the Learn English Online Discord server. So, yes. Where was I? Yeah, okay. It's time to turn the page because I've got more vocabulary here for you. I have seen the film in the cinema when it was released. Is that even correct, Zdenek? Oh, that's something Helen said. That's not what I said. No. Yeah, you have to say I saw the film in the cinema when it was released. Because when you use when and you're referring to specific time, yeah, that was specific time when it got released, right? That means you have to kind of stay in that past tense. You can't use present perfect. Anyway, the point is I'm trying to explain the word release. So when something is released, a film or I don't know what, a book, it basically comes out. Yeah, it comes out. It gets published, and then people have access to it. That's what it means. Sometimes we use a similar word to launch something, but is that used for films? I don't think so. It's usually used for products. You can launch a product. Yeah. You can launch a new model of a car or something, which you could also release, I suppose. But when it comes to films, I think this is the right word to use. Release, or a film comes out. Why did he build it? My question for Helen. And Helen responded by saying, as far as I know, he just wanted to build something. Is that what she said? Yeah. He just wanted to build something. Didn't she say for his daughter? I think so, right? For his daughter. Right. So I'm looking at the expression as far as I know, which is a wonderful way to start a sentence. If someone asks you about something factual, let's say, and you are not 100% sure, you're almost 100% sure, but you want to sort of be careful. It's a way of hedging, I suppose. You can say, as far as I know, or there's a similar expression, as far as I'm aware. So nice one, Helen, very good expression. And as far as I know, you're basically indicating that you're not absolutely sure this is true, but you think it is true. Okay, these days, people are trying to preserve it. I said this because I had read it. I had read it in an article. I had seen a video as well. This was part of my homework preparation for this episode. These days, people are trying to preserve it. And to preserve something, if it's some kind of historical monument or historical building, as the ideal palace definitely is that, you're trying to maintain it in its original state. Basically, you're trying to prevent it from decaying or being damaged or destroyed. Yeah. So to preserve something, there are people who actually who have a job like that. I can't remember what the job is, but there is a job, right? There is a job that people have to preserve historical buildings to prevent it from decaying, and yeah, just trying to maintain it as close to the original state as possible. So that was the word preserve. I think it's also used to refer to preserved. I think you say preserved food, don't you? And also there is a word preservative. Preservative is an interesting word because it means in a lot of languages. This is a word for condom, but in English, a preservative, it's a substance that is used to preserve foodstuffs, wood, and other materials against decay. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. So you put certain substances in the food, and then it stays longer. It stays longer on the shelf. Basically, it has a longer shelf life. Yes. So this word has more meanings, but yeah, to preserve and preservatives. Okay, it was primarily for his daughter. He wanted to leave her something, and a part of it was his grave. Excuse me. I think I need to have a sip of water. Sorry about that. Okay, so primarily, if something is primarily for his daughter, that means the main purpose of building this was for his daughter. Yeah, primarily. Primary, it's just like, you can obviously, primary school, right? Primary reason, I guess. So his primary, it was primarily, which is an adverb from the word primary. Yeah, it means for the main purpose was to build it for his school, for his daughter, not as a grave. Right, next. Nowadays, he's no longer considered a nutter. Helen used this word quite a lot, a nutter. A nutter is a crazy person. We spell it with double T as well, a nutter. There are a lot of expressions that are used to describe a crazy person in English, like lunatic, maniac, or crackpot, or madman, or loony. And I'm sure there are more. A nutter, a crazy person. What about you personally? What fascinates you about it the most? That's what I asked Helen, and I think this was the second time I asked this question. Is that what an interviewer should do, Zdenek? Ask the same question twice? Probably not. Probably not. But, it is what it is. I did ask the same question twice, apparently. And Helen responded by saying, I'm absolutely stunned by this. What a wonderful way to respond, Helen. Stunned. Stunned means very shocked and surprised. Stunned. Similar words, gobsmacked or amazed. I guess that has a more positive meaning as well. Astonished. There are a lot of words with this meaning. Stunned. He transported all his stones by his wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow. Is that how we pronounce it? Let me check this. Or is it barrow? Wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow. 1 second. I'm on it. Wheelbarrow. Okay. Why do I hear wheelbarrow? No, I think I'm confusing it with something else. No, it's wheelbarrow. It's definitely wheelbarrow. Yeah. I've heard this word, wheelbarrow. I don't know. But wheelbarrow, yeah, what is a wheelbarrow, Zdenek? A wheelbarrow is a large open container for for moving things. You move stuff in it, like bricks or something heavier, like dirt. After you dig something, you dig a hole into the ground, and then you have the dirt, and you want to get rid of it. Well, you put it in a wheelbarrow, and the wheelbarrow has a wheel at the front and two handles at the back. And you kind of hold the wheelbarrow, right? You hold the handles, and then you use the wheel to move the wheelbarrow. And this is especially used in the garden, as I said. And last but not least, was he doing this? Was he doing his job properly, or was he slacking off? By the way, I may have accidentally said slagging off, but nobody noticed that. Slacking off, the expression is slacking off. So if you slack off, you basically don't do your job properly, you decrease the intensity, you put in less effort, you just work less hard to slack off. Yeah, if you're slacking off too much, you will probably get sacked or fired. And the word that I allegedly used instead of this is slag off, to slag someone off. With G, to slag off, it means to criticize someone. So hopefully I'm not going to be slagged off for unintentionally saying slagged off instead of slacked off. Actually, it was in ing form, slacking off instead of slagging off. Anyway, yeah, that would be the mini lesson. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you appreciate that I'm also posting it on my YouTube channel. And thank you very much for being the Next English Podcast patron. And have a good one, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.